Dude, this is fucking weak.
Okay, so the EU, as most of you know, is probably one of the most idiotic organizations ever in the history of modern society, has just decided to basically make copyright law so restrictive that you won't actually be able to even post memes anymore if you live in Europe. This could actually spread into other parts of the world, like the United States and Canada. That's just so freaking cool. Yeah, that's like the best thing ever. That's totally what a bunch of people wanted from the EU. They totally didn't just want people to go around and tell Google and YouTube to stop fucking with people's freaking videos because there's such a thing called fair use. No, we're not telling the corporations to actually do something right when it comes to the fucking law of the land, that is the law everywhere. No, we're going to enforce our own arbitrary bullshit and fuck them up and then fuck everybody else up in the process. That is essentially what the EU is freaking doing here. Okay, this is just basically just whatever the hell the EU is doing here. That's what they're doing. It's absolutely retarded, idiotic, and it needs to be called out. I do not need to emphasize how much it needs to be called out. Let me pull up the articles. So, this law was passed on the 12th, so just a couple days ago, as of this recording. And so, these laws have been in the works since 2016, since, scandal, collusion, fake news, blah, 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 all this type of stuff. This is probably what kind of led to some people supporting this law, but I don't think that the entire election of Donald Trump was the basis for it. But this has been in the works since 2016. Keep that in mind. So the Copyright Directive is meant to protect content creators and receive strong support from some of the artistic and media communities. And let me be clear, I'm just reading from an article right here from Quartz. But its critics, including internet pioneers like Google, Facebook, and Apple, argue that the reforms would hamper the free flow of information, turn tech companies into content police, and lead to the web's ossification. Now, it's funny that Google and Facebook are saying that, considering that, they have algorithms preventing certain people from getting in touch with certain people. And, YouTube, basically stifling anybody who wants to do a hobby in movie making, like Decker Shadow, who has his freaking entire career and life based around his reviews. He's getting content ID'd every 5 seconds by the freaking DMCA, and it's ridiculous. And I've been trying to post stuff about movies, and the only way I can post stuff about movies is going into the freaking special features and just recording clips from the special features. I can't record clips from the movie and have them be a basis for something I'm trying to discuss. I have to go to the freaking special features to discuss stuff. Alright, and that's kind of retarded. And so these are the new laws that were passed. That was in a session in France. These two things in there were Article 11, Article 13. Article 11 is basically a link tax. It's where it's like you can't share like a normal link. Like if I'm putting sources on something, I can't put a link in the description without having to pay a tax for doing that, which is ridiculous, and that hurts the flow of information. All right, now I think it's rich that Google is telling the EU that, hey, this is retarded, but still, they do have a point when they're saying, hey, this is going to hurt the flow of information, and it's true. This is really going to hurt the flow of information. This is really going to hurt the flow of information. And so, I'm looking at this, these link taxes. It's basically saying, hey, Google, you're gonna have to pay a tax if you're sharing content on the internet, which is retarded. And then Article 13 demands that platforms police the content uploaded to posts ahead of their publication by using automated software that would detect and filter out intellectual property violations. Now that is the Article 13 and Article 11. Okay, Article 11 is bad enough on its own, because like I said, that restricts the flow of information. And I think Article 11 will be really damaging, because what if someone makes this huge claim against a certain corporation or a certain person, and they don't even use any sources? But then you try to counter that by using your own sources. But you have to pay money to the publisher or the websites because of copyright, even though you're using it to go after this person who is publishing false information. So that's kind of weird. Why would you do that? This is going to hurt people in the process, and that would actually give people who are publishing fake stuff more, let's say, clout than they need to be having. And then Article 13, now that one is really going to fuck things up. So that means that basically anyone from CBS to Viacom, well, actually I think Viacom owns CBS, but whatever. Viacom, Warner Brothers, all these like big companies, Disney, can basically go into your social media even and take down stuff that you're using as a meme. Like you're using like the prequel memes for Star Wars, and you know, you're trying to use like a meme from Predator or like something like that. You're trying to make memes from these beautiful clips in these movies, but you can't now, according to the EU, because it's copyright, even though there is a law called fair use. Okay? The thing that makes fair use so valuable is the fact that people can parody. They can use these clips and talk about something. Okay? It doesn't protect against people like taking the thing outright and making it their own, like a bunch of people on YouTube will, where they'll publish an entire movie, even though that's not really what you're supposed to do, and you can't technically do that anyway. But you can't even like post clips now. Like it's hard enough trying to get like people like Degger Shadow, people who make film reviews. Okay, CinemaSins, like the biggest freaking film critic site on the platform, arguably, has been having to republish videos because YouTube keeps taking them down. Okay, like imagine how hard it's going to be for people just to post memes on the internet, okay? Instagram's already going around and deleting people's posts for no reason. Like if it's like sometimes they'll delete stuff that needs to be deleted, stuff that shouldn't be on the platform, but like they'll just go around and delete people's freaking memes for no reason. All right, and what's worse is the government is going to go in, basically say, "Hey, let's do it. Let's fucking do it." All right, that's just sad. Okay, I'm trying not to make this too long. All right, this is kind of ranty, but I wanted it to be kind of ranty. But I mean, oh my God, the EU has absolutely, positively screwed up in a way that I never thought possible. Like there's a whole bunch of things going on wrong with the European Union right now. Okay, Brexit happened. There's a migrant crisis going on. Like they could be focusing on the migrant crisis right now, but they're not focusing on that. They're focusing on internet copyright. This is one of the dumbest things to really be focusing on unless you're wanting to do things that are consumer friendly. This is not consumer friendly practice. They're wanting to do this thing in order to protect content creators. Well, what if the content creators don't want that? Most content creators are like, no, this is stupid. And this German politician named Axel Voss is basically the guy who, he's the guy who fucking did this. Okay? He said he celebrated the vote. Okay? You see that meme where that politician holding his arms up? He's like, yeah! Alright, this is that guy. He celebrated the vote and thanked his fellow politicians for the job we have done together. This is a good sign for the creative industries in Europe. Bullshit. Bullshit. Okay? And this is going to spread in the United States and Canada because, like, what if there are people in Europe are sharing memes about intellectual properties that belong to people in America or Canada or the Philippines or something like that, or Uganda. Like Ugandan movies, man. You know how many memes they made of Ugandan movies? All right, this is going to spread everywhere. This gives like the European Union like a huge stranglehold on the film industry, on YouTube, on social media. It kind of construes a lot of things. It's like basically saying, you can't do this, you can't do that, or you can do this, but you can't do that. And it's really infuriating that people think it's like, oh, this is a good idea. No, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible, terrible, terrible idea to even try to comprehend. It's so unbelievably dumb that it makes me want to sit on my ass and blow my brains out with the gun. This is stupid. Okay, no, you know me. I'm not a guy who's, up and about in YouTube, I'm barely making 3,000 views right now as it is. I barely have 3,000 views. I've been on the platform for a year and a half now, or almost 2 years now. I mean, come on, I want to succeed a little bit better. Okay, there's a lot of things that need to be fixed with YouTube and with Twitter and with social media in general, because there's so many demagogues out there that are in control of the industry. They're basically doing stupid shit out there, and they're not being held accountable. All right, but I don't want the government going in there and fucking shit up in the process. If the government's going to come in, it needs to come in when there is a legitimate strike to safety for people's identity on the internet and people's welfare. And honestly, this new law isn't going to help it. This new law isn't going to help it at all. In fact, it's going to probably set it back another 20 years. And this is just terrible. So, anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And hopefully, you probably noticed that, oh, hey, you're not hearing my hands clicking on the controller. It's because I actually recorded my audio beforehand. So that's pretty good, right? Yeah. Maybe I can get better at editing as I go along. Thank you to the guy who suggested all this stuff for me. I forget your name. I'll post your name in the comment section. Anyway, good night.